Right. So ospreys, also known as the sea hawk for a long time before they were given their own classification. The ospreys. What do we know about ospreys? So they only eat fish, which is known as a piscivore. They have these weird feet. I forgot what they're called, like zygo something feet, but they have like opposable thumbs, and their feet are organized. There's four toes in each foot, and they're organized in an X shape, and they can swing these around in a way in which they can like carry a fish so that its head faces forwards, so that they're more aerodynamic and it's easier to carry the fish. So it's not like flopping around all over the place. Also, these birds dive into the water to get the fish, and taking off from the water is like very difficult and expels a lot of energy. So they don't want to waste any of their energy carrying a fish awkwardly and having it flop about and be really heavy. Those toes are similar to the toes that woodpeckers use to hold onto a tree, but obviously the osprey uses it to pull fish out of the water. So clearly they're birds of prey, which I didn't mention. What else do we know? We've got a 5 meter wingspan. I remember that. They have little black bandana that goes over their eyes that makes them look like a robber. They tend to be monogamous pairs, so they have a male and female. The male goes hunting and the female sits on the eggs, and the female tends to be bigger than the male, or doesn't tend to be bigger than the male. The female is bigger than the male. And they build nests together, and they like start building a nest, and then every year they add to the nest, so it gets bigger and bigger to the point where a human being is able to sit on it, and that's pretty much the limit. But other birds, like little sparrows and stuff, burrow into the nest and build their own little nests, so it's quite nice for everyone involved. In the UK, they're quite scarce because they were. I think it was in the Victorian times. I'd have to check again. There was like a big. Well, the rich people in the Victorian times liked to have a stuffed osprey in their house because it looked nice. So they would catch ospreys and like kill them, stuff them, and put them in their houses, which obviously brought down the numbers. But at the same time, there was also like a lot of people who wanted to. Well, there was a lot of egg collecting going on, and a lot of egg trading. So little Victorians would sneak out into ospreys' nests and steal their eggs. And yeah, there was one. Here's that Bill Bailey's book. There was one story of a guy in 1859 or something. He went to steal 2 osprey eggs from a nest out on a lake, on a loch. I think it was on a loch. And he swam out there, grabbed the eggs, tried carrying one in his mouth, which didn't work, and one in his hand whilst he swam. So he decided to instead lay them on his belly and then do a backstroke back to the edge of the lake. A bit like a stealing, well, Bill Bailey called him a thieving otter. So that's funny. Don't look at the notebook. So they didn't migrate. So there's like the UK's not got that. Well, they've got more now than they used to have. They've sort of come back. But there's a word for it. What are they called? Did they say they were cosmopolitan? Yeah, they're cosmopolitan because they live in all different countries, not just the UK. So you get them in Indonesia, you get them in Africa, you get them in America. You basically get them anywhere that's not Antarctica. And what else about them? Yeah, and they migrate. So the ones from the UK actually migrate all the way to Africa, to the Gambia, apparently. But only the adults migrate. I think they migrate to have sex. So they migrate to go fuck each other. And then the young ones, the young ones don't tend to mate until they're like 3 years old. So the young ones stay behind while the adults go off and shag, because there's no point in the young ones going with them, because it'll be a big waste of energy and a big waste of time, because they don't shag until they're 3. So, also they can live till they're like 2 decades old, like 20 years old, which is quite a long time. What else do we know about the osprey? Is that everything we learned? I'm sure there's more. Oh yeah, so I forgot to mention when I was talking about their feet, they also have barbed feet. So they have the toes to hold it facing forwards, but also barbed feet which cling onto the fish and stop it wiggling about. I only just learned that bit, so I forgot. Is that everything? Oh yeah, they don't have any predators really. Sometimes when they catch fish, because they catch a fish whole and take it off to the nest and feed their wife and kids with it and themselves, the males. Um, so there is they sometimes end up in fights with eagles. I guess this is probably in America. They didn't really say, but wherever eagles are, they get in fights with the eagles. The eagles want their food, and the eagle just ends up killing them and eating them instead. Like I don't think it's the eagle's meal of choice because it's too difficult. But if food's scarce, and they're having a fight over a meal, and the osprey dies, I guess the eagle's just like, well, I'll fucking eat you instead. And also the babies get sometimes predated on by like owls and other birds at night. So there's that. They have predators as babies, but everything has predators as babies. Like you can kill anything when it's a baby. Don't quote me on that. I think that's everything. We can check the notebook now, maybe. Yeah, male hunts female. Female stays behind. Zygodactyl feet was what I was looking for before. Oh yeah, it shakes itself dry when it comes out of the water, but I'm not sure that's a big. You'd imagine it have to do that anyway, because they dive right down into the water, like heavy, crash into the water and have to clamber back out. Yeah, low numbers in the UK. The Ottoman. They migrate to Gambia. Yeah, pretty much got everything there. Aha, memory. It's all in here, but not for long. I'll fucking forget it.